This is Stacy Marshall with Printwear Magazine.
Matt Vassallo with the RhinestoneWorld.com.
Richard Greaves with ScreenMaking.com.
Brian Walker with RTP Apparel.
This is Peter Walsh with M&R, and you're listening to the Two Regular Guys podcast.
Podcast hosted by
Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
And
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Keep on listening.
I don't know if these guys are that regular.
I guess we're on. We're not on.
We're on.
We broke the internet. Well, we're on. Thursday night, August 26th. I'm Terry Combs. You can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at oursuccessgroup.com. And we have an amazing guest who might be the only one that you can understand right now. How are you doing, Erich?
Doing all right, as per the usual, getting ready for the show. If you guys don't know why it looks weird in here, why we're in hotel rooms, we're here at DAX. It's Chicagoland DAX. It's time in Tinley Park. So happy to be here.
We are indeed. We did, well, I want to say we did setup today. I just kind of walked through and said, hey, can I use that, and that from your booth and in my presentation tomorrow? And then I went back to my room. I don't know what you guys did.
Yeah, I actually set up a booth, so that was fun. How about you, Erich? You set up any booth? I didn't even see you on the show floor.
No, I didn't even get down to the show floor. No, admittedly, now I'm going to say I caught a horrific red eye this morning and was up and running since 3 a.m. So I got in, took care of some business, and then realized, wow, where did that 2 hours go? As apparently I lost consciousness temporarily. So I don't nap, but I do have missing time.
Did you have that the podcast is tonight moment? Because I did.
For a second, yeah, no. Also because for some reason my computer doesn't catch up its clock by itself, even though everything else does. So I was in there working away, practicing, getting things ready, dealing with other work and emails, and then realized I'm looking at going, that's an hour off, isn't it?
What did he say? He said practicing.
I don't understand what the term practicing. It's a
did
podcast.
Did you practice it for your seminar?
No, for my seminar.
I did do a little work. Practice for my seminar. Well, I made. You might be proud, Erich. I have 100 slides. 100 slides.
You might have me beat this time. I don't know.
I'm kind of proud, and the possibility of me getting through them all, absolutely none. Not possible at all. When I did my seminar, 52 niche markets in 52 minutes, everyone who knew me just laughed.
I remember when you told me the title, I said, so are we taking over and unders already? Or because I was like at 10.
Well, one of my attendees said, after you did the first one and you talked for 5 minutes, I knew, well, this isn't happening. I did offer my slides to anybody that wanted them. So.
Yeah.
I will say we have two different schedules where I have been given more time on one version of the schedule than the other, and that happened before. Whatever the longer one is, believe me, everyone, I'm taking all of that time. I hope that you're weighing out how much my seminar is worth by minutes, because you're getting all of the minutes. They're all happening. All of the hours that you plan to pay for, you're getting all of them, I promise.
You're getting all the minutes.
Yeah,
I believe that.
Minutes, believe me.
Eric gets paid by the minute. I like it. All right. Let's check it. Let's check a couple comments here. Todd says, I'm thinking one of you three should be working out. So here in the hotel, we've got an exercise ball. Let's see what else is. This is right in the hotel room. And by the way, Terry's just hanging out in the room. My wife's right over here, so we'll be kicking him out later. But that's just FYI, Kim.
But I did come bearing gifts. I brought beer.
He just brought an empty pitcher. No, I was kidding. So yeah, the new Even Hotel, I believe, is what it's called. Erich,
yes, it is. Right? It is Even Hotel at Tinley Park Convention Center, and it's nicely renovated with, as we said, a workout space. Like
I did speak to our buddy Hawkeye who works for Brother, and I said, "Are you staying here?" And he goes, "No, I'm staying at the Odd Hotel."
Appropriate.
Nice. And then Terry and I put up our motivational sticker on the wall behind us. Sleep well, dream big. So
sure.
Put that up for you guys. Yeah. So let's see who else is checking in. Good evening, Chuck. And appreciate you being here. and Martha. Hello, guys. And then apparently you just ran into James Ortolani in the elevator.
I did indeed.
Okay, there we go.
He was eyeing my pitcher of beer. He and Alan Howe. So,
yeah. And then so we've got Rich joining us, and hello, Kim. And what you want to go ahead and?
Well, yeah. Kim says, "Shocker, Terry brought beer." Hey, I'm a good guest. What are you saying?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, always bring a gift. Always bring a gift. And then we've got Ree checking in, and Dean. Hello and good evening. All right, let's see here. Eric, before we get into kind of what we're going to try to talk about, we're flying a little blind or winging it a smidge tonight. I know that you've got a dad joke, but before we do that, can I share something that I want to get out there for people first? We're going to kind of, this is kind of a news item. Can we do that?
For sure. Let's get it going.
Okay. All right. So news item from our friend Nathan Lieber, who's been on the show before. Am I saying his last name right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I normally get it wrong, but I've been practicing. Right. So I had a chance to talk to him earlier today, and obviously, if you're not experiencing a shortage of some product right now, or having a hard time finding, a shirt or a hat, right, then you're probably living under a rock, because I have not run into anybody that's having a great deal of luck with inventory. And so there's been a lot of discussion around that, obviously a lot of commiserating, oh, it is, this sucks. And, it's way behind, and there's containers lined up for miles. And, I heard some report that one of the big distributors were waiting for 600 containers or some crazy number like that.
Yeah.
And again, we know why, we know what's going on. We knew that this was coming. And so I just was kind of lamenting the fact that I kind of am like, okay, we know what the problem is. We can point our fingers and blame COVID, blame this, blame that, but who's doing anything about it? Who, and I don't have answers. It's, not my business to sell blank garments, but I'm curious, what these distributors and other folks in the space are doing to try to help their customers with some relief to this. And, so all I keep getting is, well, this is the reason, this is the reason, this is the reason. And I say, cool, I get it. Thanks for sharing that. What are you doing to solve it? Right. And unfortunately, a lot of it seems to be just sitting on the hands to wait. And I'm not a big fan of that kind of thing. Terry knows that about me a little bit. And so Nathan was actually working on something already, just not I don't think he's importing anything or anything like that, but he's a solution oriented guy. And so I had a chance to talk to him this morning, and I'm going to read, he posted this in one of the Facebook groups. We'll try to get it on our site, and we'll get it out to other places. But here's what he said. In light of the garment shortage and my disbelief that nothing can be done, I made a live Google sheet that has some of my shop blank inventory on it. I know all of the decorators community has this stuff around their shop, and for whatever reason, it is just collecting dust when someone could be using it. Feel free to hop in and add to this list and connect with one another, buy and sell. All I would ask is that we try to keep the formatting clean, and that no one price gouges, or I will just delete it from the sheet. And I told him that I would back him up on that and happily be an intermediary should there be some challenges there. But, this is his sheet, and he's coordinating this for us. So he goes on to say, hopefully we can all help each other out and find some of the garments that we know are sitting in a corner somewhere. So we've got a link to this sheet, and Eric kindly put that together for us in the bit.ly format for you. So bit.ly/stock sheet 1. And it's also there in the comments. Oh, look at this. Wow. This Eric guy is on top of it. So yeah, I think this, and Kim just popped in and said, great idea. I agree. I think this is a fantastic idea. Again, I know most decorators do have that just overstock, right? Stuff that they bought that either the customer didn't pan out, or, you ordered it wrong and you didn't want to pay the restock fee was another idea there. So whatever it is for you, use this sheet to be able to help other people, and to be able to, maybe hopefully find something that one random thing that you just can't find, or that you've been to 27 different warehouses and it's not there. So I don't think we're going to solve this shortage problem right away, but this is at least the first time I've heard anybody come out with a solution, right? So I love it. And so kudos to you, Nathan. Thanks for doing that. His information is already in there and on there. So if you want to reach out to him and see what he's got and just thank him for putting this together, I would highly encourage that. Any other thoughts about that, Terry?
Well, yeah, and Nate's been a huge contributor to the industry for several years now, and this is awesome he's doing. And my further comment is don't be that toilet paper buyer from 18 months ago. I was talking to a supplier this week, and he said, he goes, well, let me just show you our shelving, and he pointed out 3 shelving units. He goes, that's normally white ink; it's all gone. And he goes, now we're not out, but it's people are calling every supplier in the country saying, hey, do you have this? And then binge buying it. And he said, here's my concern. Our regular customers are going to come to us. We're going to reach a point where people are trying to get as much of this product as they can, and we're not going to be able to provide it to the customer that's been with us for the last 10 years. So try to avoid that. Everybody that goes back and looks in their closet and they still have 10 cases of toilet paper, think about that for a minute and buy what you need, not what you think you're going to need way down the road. So.
Yeah. And I guess when you think about that, Terry, one thing to think about there, one of the comments that came up, and I'm trying to remember who posted it, but like I said, I was just kind of lamenting the fact that I want people to, what are your ideas for how to solve some of this? Obviously, this is a big challenge, and there is no magic bullet or, just snap your fingers and it's gone. But we need to start coming up with solutions. And somebody had mentioned that, well, maybe one of the things that the distributors need to do is understand who their core customers are, and not just, again, somebody that's just out of the blue showing up and wants to buy all of your white ink up because they're going to stockpile it. That's on the distributor to step up, and so
well, and all these distributors are on allotments now, and it could be based on what you purchased in the first quarter of this year. Well, the first quarter of this year, a lot of things were down, so they're taking those numbers and saying, okay, you get 50 or 75% of that.
Yeah.
So the distributors are kind of panicking also because. The allotments back when you could buy whatever you needed to buy, I guess spoiled us a little bit, but we're going to come out of it, and it's sooner rather than later. But just don't get crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a perfect way to put it, Terry. Just like you said, we're going to come out of it. It'll work out. There's going to be some tough times. The thing is, everybody's in the same boat. So the customer comes to you and says, well, if you can't get that, then I'm going to go to somebody else. Well, unless somebody else is stockpiling it, which Richardson hats, I doubt.
They would have had to already been stockpiling it at this point.
Yeah.
We're talking to people now. It's like this stock doesn't exist. Now, what I'm going to say is, what an excellent time for us to all practice selling. And I mean the actual act of selling, not just dropping a random kind of catalog in front of someone, actually selling them on the virtues of something we do have. It's a good time for that. I mean, every time somebody tells me this, because we were talking about the topic we're going to get to, am I doing this right? I can't tell you how many times somebody says, I can't get caps right. These caps are junk, and they're running horrible caps all the time. And I'm like, okay, so that cap always runs terribly, but other caps run better. Why do you keep selling the terrible cap? When somebody is coming from someone else asking you for it, I would be like, here's the one that runs really great, and this is why I want you to use it. So I will say, admittedly, garment, the supply chain is so bad right now that there are times where even in your class, you're having trouble trying to find something in a class of hats in a certain color, say. Sure. And that's a different matter altogether. But when we're talking about one brand, it's like, come on, folks, let's start looking for those other brands who are able to service us and get them out there.
Yeah. So how about the supply of dad hats, Eric? How's that look? Are you hanging in there? I just don't want you to be without headwear.
These are military style hats. This is sandwear. I have a stockpile, unfortunately, but it's only a stockpile for one person.
So I was going to say, do you need to put that on the spreadsheet, Eric?
If so, no, I don't have that many. Believe me,
Okay,
my wife
all right.
is continually telling me how maybe I should refresh the aging cat.
No, man, I love it.
anytime
I
soon.
love it, man. I love it. I think that is one of my favorite things about you. I know what look I'm getting from Eric all the time, and it's an awesome look, and I don't want that to go anywhere.
For people of
Eric,
about
can we
my
take a-
age, I just gotta say, for people who are about my age, I'm like a PlayStation 1 '90s video game character. I come in like 5 different color swaps of the same outfit. That is pretty much all you get. Like it looks like this,
Well,
but the colors may
Jim is
change.
jumping out of his chair, going, "That's your brand, man."
I know. This is the Eric hat. Sanmar owns me now, I guess, and I didn't even get paid for it. Come on, guys.
You should get like a kickback every time you go.
What I'm saying, the Erich hat.
Eric hat, right? Yeah.
Just
All right. So let's take a look at some of the comments here. We've got some comments coming in. Todd mentioned, and I have to scroll back just a little ways. There you go. Thank you. Looks like I'll have to run through a storage unit and see what we can add to the list. Great idea.
Yep.
I love it. People are popping in, but I'm missing some of the comments. So we're sitting here staring at a big screen TV right now. There you go. Thank you. I believe it's something similar in the Women in Garment Decorator Group. Similar out. Great idea. Dale was talking about the people that were stockpiling the white ink. One has to wonder if they'll suffer loss due to shelf life. What do you think? No. Okay.
Unfortunately, I wish I could say yes, but no.
No.
Just
of course, Jerry has to try and get a head start on the dad joke. My extra supply of TP is wiped out.
Nice. That's coming, Jerry, but that's in the running. I like it. Bevy Jean, hello from the UP, and the Crystal Ninja joining us.
Absolutely, very cool.
So Brian says, "Yep. Brian says a Lawson rep told me they were getting calls from people wanting to buy 10 drums of white ink and had never bought from them before. Yikes! Okay,
that's a little bit of ink. 10 drums.
You ever use 10 drums? Yeah.
You want the picture?
Do you want the picture? Sorry, we're sending Kylie on a beer run.
So for the win, Kylie winning the award tonight.
Indeed, keeping the 2 regular guys properly lubricated. Okay, what else we got here? James says the garment inventory sheet is a great idea. That list might catch on and even continue after the supply chain recovers. I love it. That's a great point, James. Think about, maybe this is the start of the Uber of blank garment supply, right? The disruption, the Airbnb. I don't know.
One of those other competing podcasts, they'll call theirs the Lift, but yeah, okay.
We could come up with a catchy name now. Darn it. All right. Let's see here. We start putting on quotes orders subject to availability, style, brand. Yep. That's
there we go.
And Evelyn, hello. Nice cap. There you go.
I like it.
All right. So.
No, Cindy, I love this, Cindy. I think Adam Fuller is going to have to ramp up his camp production by a lot. Yeah, by a lot, folks.
Todd's requesting Kylie get him a beer too, but
I don't think she's tuned in.
Hey, I'm not there either. We just got to get our own beer, my man.
She's in the elevator.
Yeah. There's a slight delay on when you're hearing this, so unfortunately we didn't catch her. Okay, let's see here. Brian says, I've heard people say that the manufacturers need to start sewing more in the U.S. It took Allmade almost 3 years to make and sell 1 million T-shirts. So to start a new process at this point would be even longer than that. Yes and no. Okay, I get it. Definitely challenges, but again, the other part about this is, did anybody not see this coming? I mean, I've been hearing about this kind of thing since COVID started. What are we going to do with the containers and all that kind of stuff? So, unfortunately, people decided to sit on things, and I get it, right? There's money involved with keeping going while you're not getting the sales, and so there's no one's right or wrong here. My point is, let's just keep looking towards solutions. So.
And that's why there's 2 regular guys, because I'm more than willing to point out who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And just kidding.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. Kylie's He's been getting more beer, so maybe I will be pointing out who's right. Who's wrong.
That's true. Good point.
This is why I demanded to continue to have the button for the mics. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is why he refused to come join us in studio here. So
this is true. Yeah, I don't need to start drinking early. I'm good. I'll produce the show.
All right. Yeah, the supply chain must be paying a lot in shipping when you place an order and it comes from 5 warehouses. Yeah. I'm not a full-time garment decorator, but we needed to get some things the other day, and the cost of the garments was $25. The cost of shipping was $73.
Yeah.
So
it
was just,
reality.
Had to buy more stuff, basically.
we might live 10 minutes from a giant Sanmar warehouse. So far, so good.
All right. So you're going to, so just call Terry if you have a need, and he'll go pick it up.
And I'll bring it over to your place.
Nice. There is your Uber of garment decorating. Call someone who lives next to one of the DCs and have them pick it up.
And I also have your Uber Eats. I got your shirts. Get your Uber Eats.
Oh man! All right, who's reaching out to Uber?
Ready to hire you.
So you got Uber Eats, and now you got Uber shirts.
About that time. Yeah. Also, I'm going to say for all of you people who said no reason to make your own small run patches. Yeah, there is.
Okay,
you can't sell anything else. You sell patches. You're right.
Did you? How long did you say before you brought up patches?
I had 15 minutes. What'd you have?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. It was without going over though, Eric. That was the bet.
Hey, as long as I still get my cut of the pot, I don't care.
Yeah, there you go. All right. I might have to supply. Yeah, there you go. Evelyn says, me too. They're close by. I might have to supply for my buddies.
There you go.
And Todd says, I've seen someone selling decorated shirts on DoorDash. Interesting.
I don't doubt it.
So we have been known to take pockets off to fill a non-pocket shirt order. Wow. Interesting. That's creative. I like that.
Yeah. Can I want to comment about Todd's DoorDash. I was in an Uber, and on the back of both the front seats was a T-shirt talking about the fact that he printed T-shirts also, and if you'd like to order, and had his phone number and his website. And I thought, good on you, man. That's awesome. That's great marketing.
Yeah, definitely.
You're certainly captive. I'll say today I took a 45-minute Uber, so I think that I could have been advertised too.
As did I. Yeah.
Yes,
wow.
Indeed.
Well, yeah.
Uber from
Kim might still be watching. She's probably in the pool. But she was dropping off the package yesterday at UPS and sold a shirt order to the person behind the counter. So
nice. There's always always be selling, right?
Always be selling, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. All right, Eddie. Well, we're hanging out. I've got 2 of my best friends here with me, and we're enjoying a beer. At least Terry and I are. Eric.
Yeah, me and beer. Oh, and Eric. Just 3 friends.
Just text your room number. I'll have beer. I'll have Tyler come by.
Don't worry. Believe me, once we shut down here, now admittedly, I am still going to run through my slides because I'm a consummate professional, but I will possibly do that with beer in my hand. We'll see.
Well, my webinar got my seminar got completely changed up when I got here today. So I don't know if I'll review the slides or not. I only have 100, and I only have 3.5 hours to do it. So
there you go.
It's all good.
You're fine. You're fine. It's not like you haven't done this for, I don't know.
Always frosty.
How many years?
A couple.
Yeah.
1979.
All right. This is a question for you, Terry. When did you teach your very first screen printing class? Do you remember approximately?
I'm going to say.
Was it pre-US Screen? Or
no,
US Screen?
My first class would have been at US Screen, and I was helping with class to start with. Bob was teaching the classes. Yep. And so that would have been about
2004?
Yeah.
2003?
3. Yeah.
All right. There you go. So there you go. So I think you've got this. I think you'll be all right.
I feel good about it.
Okay.
Give me a little while. I'll catch up on experience. It's all good.
It's funny, and you guys teach seminars. You appreciate that, and so our listeners do too. For years, I would teach my screen printing class, my 2-day class. I had a full-size yellow legal pad because I had a lot of notes. I mean, the whole thing was filled with notes. And I would do the class, and I would hold it in my hand as I was talking. And one day I thought, I have never looked at that one time while I was teaching the class. It was like a security blanket.
Yeah, it was.
And finally, I'm like, okay, I'm not bringing it with me.
Yeah.
I reached.
I wish I were that cool.
And I put it back down again.
Yeah.
Picked it back up. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'm leaving it here.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it in Arizona.
Yeah.
No, I need that slide deck, man.
You need to try that guy.
I would love to
Well,
tell
the
you.
slide deck though, slide deck's good. That keeps you on track. That's what I use it for. It's
Oh no,
not so
slide
much for,
slide deck is not because I don't have enough to talk about. Slide deck is to save me from going 6 hours instead of 3.5.
Exactly right. Exactly right. It just reels you back in.
Yes,
And back in the day when Aaron and we're getting ready to do another seminar together here at Printing United, but the slides where Aaron would have 3 paragraphs and I'd have 2 words, another 3 paragraphs. I'd have the 1-word slide. He'd have 3 paragraphs. I have a picture. So we kind of met somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
I needed to say more. He needed to say less.
Yeah, we finally found a happy medium. So actually,
I have tip money.
No, you're good. The waitress.
Our beer is here.
Yeah. Thanks, Danny.
She's like, I got a tip for you.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes. So yeah, we've found that happy medium. I've actually gone to trying to just keep an image on most of my slides and then having a couple bullet points on the back on the speaker side. So, but I still to this day have my security blanket when I'm talking in front of a live audience. I have to have that clicker in my hand.
Oh no, the clicker's major.
I've had times where I forgot the new batteries or whatever, it just wasn't working. I couldn't get it to work. I still wouldn't put it down. I would go to the computer and move it ahead, but I still would not put down the clicker. So,
man, you gave me the fear for the clicker right there. I almost had to reach back in my pack and find mine.
I've got plenty of batteries now after that experience, Eric. So I got you.
I'm telling you, look, that's it. Also, laser pointer. Didn't think I gave a damn, but boy, I need that laser pointer.
But you're a cat
definitely
guy.
gonna draw. Yeah.
You got a cat guy. You've got to have a laser pointer, right? I mean,
right?
Isn't that how you control them?
Okay, I cannot. That the problem is, I was gonna get mad and say that's BS. I didn't do that, except for I have totally used my show laser pointer to mess with the cat. So yes, I can't say anything. But my wife is very much a cat person. There are cats in my house in surplus. So yes, I have used my work laser pointer to run a cat around the room. That's 100%.
Well, I have to say, when you said you had a dad joke, my comment before the show was a cat dad joke.
Yeah, no, this is true. I'll say this: a dad joke is also just a bad joke, and that's, that I have in space.
I told a cat joke like a month ago about why the Earth's not flat. We know because if it was flat, cats would have pushed all of our stuff off the edge by now.
That's right. I forgot about that.
100%. 100%.
All right. Speaking of dad jokes, maybe we should get this thing on. So since this is a special pre-DAX one here, we don't have a ton of outline. We've got some things we want to talk about for sure, but we're just having some fun tonight, guys. So we hope you guys are having some fun tonight too. Let's catch a couple comments, Eric, and then I know you've got a dad joke for us. So we're excited about that. Evelyn said, need a prop, huh? Talking about your notebook or your legal pad there. Sure. Cindy said, I had my last child in 2003.
Whatever.
There you go. Well, Evelyn says, my baby graduated high school in 2003. So there you go. And then James Orlani shared his first screen printing seminar that he taught was in 1985.
James, you're an old dude, man. Okay, you might be younger than me, but you're an old soul.
Yeah, that's right.
James is a very, very good friend of ours. So.
Yeah, right. We love James. I got to talk to James today about Skills USA. Nice. So after you're done with the dad joke, Eric, I actually do want to bring that up here. So somebody remind me.
Well, I mean, I would hate for everybody to lose out on the dad joke, so I just thought I would go ahead and bring one up. And when I was a lot younger, I used to really hate facial hair. I never really liked it, but then it just kind of grew on me.
Wow.
How's
that is a dad joke.
That is good.
Dad or what?
That does harken back to Jerry's joke of his extra supply of toilet paper was wiped out. So there you go.
Right.
That same vein.
That hurts.
Jerry wins, by the way.
Usually I do the cerebral ones. Not today, man. We're going straight old school dad joke.
That was good. That was awesome.
Well, Evelyn's asking about Skills USA. So
all right. Well, let's talk about that real quick. Yeah. So Skills USA, just so those of you who are not familiar with it, it is a competition for high school and college age kids that as a big picture thing, they've got everything you can imagine. And it's typically a trade, some sort of a trade. So like you've got hair and makeup and heating and air conditioning and electrical and working on cars, working on motorcycles, computer technology kind of stuff, just any kind of a trade that is out there. They have some sort of a competition that these kids can learn a skill, and it starts at their school level. There's typically a state level. Thank you, Eric. He's putting it up there on the screen. And there's a state level, and then those kids will compete, and meaning, and so for our industry, I was talking to James today, and he was giving me some of the history because he's been around it for a very long time. I've only been kind of part of it or helping out on the judging side for about 5 or 6 years now. And apparently for years, one of the competitions they had was T-shirt design, but they never printed the shirts. They just had the T-shirt designs, and then Skills USA would have those shirts printed and then sell them, and it was making money. So after a while, finally, Hicks and James Ortolani was with Hicks at the time. They kind of got involved with one of the teachers, and James will be able to tell this story way better than me, so I won't go too deep into it. But they basically started a screen printing competition where the kids would come in, set up a screen. You've judged before.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
this past year I judged.
Yeah. So that, they go through the whole process from start to finish of screen printing. And I don't remember how long ago, but probably about 9 to 10 years ago, they added in sublimation to the process, to the competition. So basically the way it works is if they decide they want to bring in another competition, they have to do a demo, and then the skills people, so it's not an actual competition that year, but they still have kids that kind of go through it and do it like it is an actual competition. And then the people will, from skills, will decide if that becomes part of their regular programming after that. And then the high schools out there that participate in Skills USA, they could add that into their curriculum or have that there. So I'm thinking, for example, with embroidery, Eric, if that was something that people wanted to bring and that there was enough schools that would be interested in a competition, the schools would then have to have the equipment and supplies and things like that for the kids to learn on. And then they would go to their state competition. And if they win their state competition, then they go on to the national competition, which is then where Terry and I were judges and whatnot. So that's how this all works. And it's a really cool experience because of the fact that you've got young people that are actually very interested in our industry. And so you kind of like, okay, why would you? So I've spent my time, Terry spent his time, and I've traveled to Louisville for the national competition, all that other stuff. I spend my time, I spend my money. You don't get paid for any of this, and you kind of like, what's in it for you?
Wait, I'm not getting a check.
No, I forgot to tell you that. Sorry. So anyhow, the point being is, and then there's other companies that will sponsor this. Hicks has been a sponsor for a long time on the screen printing side. I know M&R has participated. I can't remember all of the different names on the screen print side, but I mean, you've got people that have been there and been judges: Alan Howe, James Ortolani, Lon Winters, Matt Marcotte, Brett Bowden. I'm trying to think of some of the other people that I've seen there over the years. On the sublimation side, David Gross. I mean, heck, just sitting there for 2 days, getting to hang out and while we're not judging, chat with David Gross was like, I'll show up and do that all the time. That's pretty cool from a sublimator side. Jimmy Lamb, Chris Burnett. I know I'm missing lots of people, so I apologize. And here's James jumping in. So anyhow, the program is fantastic because you have these young people that are getting involved. But from an industry side, there's two things. As a company, as a supplier, as a distributor of equipment or supplies, you also are building future customers. I remember this from when you and I were at US Screen, and you were teaching the screen printing class. I wasn't involved in the teaching side, but it was my responsibility to make sure you guys had shirts and the stuff that you needed.
Right.
And Haynes used to send us box upon box upon box of shirts. In fact, I bet you a lot of people would like those boxes right now.
They would love to see that inventory.
Yeah.
Skids of shirts.
Yeah, and they would send it to us for free. And so one day I just asked the lady, I said, "What? I really appreciate this. Can I ask, what's in it for you guys?" I just was curious. I thought after the fact, like, oh crap, I hopefully not making it so we have to pay for these. That'll come out of my check. But
what is in it for us?
Damn it. No, she just said, when people are learning and they print on your shirt or they print on your press or whatever the case may be, when they learn on that, when they go back to their shop, when they go back to their school, whatever, guess what they're going to buy? Exactly. That Hanes shirt that, at the time you guys were using Workhorse there at US Screen, that kind of thing. So anyhow, point being is there's a ton of great reasons for the supplier side of the industry to be involved, to donate prizes, to donate products to work with, to help get the schools set up and support their local schools and places like that. But then the other side of it and I'm going to read James's thing in here in just 1 second because it gives us a little more history. But the other side of it that James and I were talking about this afternoon was from the decorator side. There's also a huge reason to be involved and be supportive of this. And right now we're seeing that reason play out like in living color. People complaining about not being able to have the labor that they need, the skilled screen print operators, somebody to help them with their sublimation. There's not too many people like me that have 15 minutes of embroidery experience, that they're available, that kind of thing. So what's happening is those young people that are interested in this, they're not seeing the support from the industry at large as they might hope. And so they say, okay, well, I'm interested in this. And therefore, instead of going and trying to find somebody to work for, I'm going to go work for Terry, I'm going to work for Erich, whatever. They go, I'm just going to start my own thing. And now you've created a competitor. But if you get in and help and reach out to your local schools, invite them to come into your facility, show that support, guess what? You're teaching your employees that are going to be available to you in just a couple of years.
Exactly right.
And so across the board, I think it's so important that we get involved in programs like Skills USA. I know there's a couple of others out there, at least one other. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I'm a big Skills USA fan, so we're going to leave it at that. So let's and I'll get off my soapbox here. James said Jess Hudson, and I got to meet Jess, and really great guy, was our company pilot at Hicks. And he was also the Dean of Technology at Pittsburgh State University. He asked us on a flight if we'd ever heard of Skills USA. And that's how Hicks got involved and it all got started. So Jess was and James, I don't know, hopefully he's still around, but it's been a little while since I've seen him. But great guy, really loved kind of educating and helping the kids and was very passionate about the Skills USA mission. So,
the great thing about Pittsburgh State University, and it's no H at the end, it's Pittsburgh, Kansas. I used to hire artists from there all the time because you could get a degree in screen print management at Pittsburgh State University. And every graphic designer that graduated from there had to take the screen printing sequence also. So every artist that I ever hired would come in, and when I said 55 line dots, they're like, okay, that's cool. Yeah. Every other graphic designer on the planet goes, 55 line dot, that's like printing basketballs. No, that can't be right.
Yeah.
Don't argue with me.
Yeah, totally. That's funny. Erich, we've got one from Jeff here. It says, got to teach them young. Adam, who is Jeff's son, learning at age 10. Yeah, he's embroidering at age 10. You wouldn't believe the level of conversations we have about technical aspects as well as marketing. Yeah, Jeff, kudos to you. Fantastic fathership right there. I think I just made that word up. So.
Yes, I think you did. I mean,
DM.
Yeah, exactly.
Classically
for that.
But,
All right. James also.
I'm going to use it in my seminar tomorrow.
Oh, you got to tell me one time. The first time you have to give me credit.
I'll give you credit.
All right. James said the first year for the screen print competition at Skills USA, we did a mock screen print competition to see if teachers thought it would be a good competition to add. It was a huge hit. We drew big crowds. I mean, Terry, you know this, right? The screen printing, the art of screen printing, that screen coming up, the shirt coming off.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's very cool.
How long have you been doing it for? And it's still cool, right?
It's, let's see, 43 years. But here's the cool thing for high schools and colleges even that do this is it supports itself, because most of these schools, they do the shirts for the chess club and for the soccer team, and they do shirts for this group and that group. They're busy. They're like running production when they go to these Skills USA kind of gatherings that they have, so it's awesome. And there are other things like sublimation. I'm sure that they sell those products in the school and support themselves. So it's really ideal. And when I did the judging this year, man, it was so much fun to watch. And it's, I didn't realize I'm watching hours of these videos, and it's like I'm going to watch one more. And it's the kids talking about a project they did and start to finish, then doing a job interview as if they're trying to get a job with you, and it's really cool stuff. And it's so exciting to see how excited they were about the industry, and I think most of those kids that I watched anyway, their plan was to go out and be screen printers, and that's that's part. Someone's calling me from Phoenix, but and of course I always warn all the students in my classes, now if you're not in the business yet, here's your last chance to leave, because once you become a screen printer, you'll never ever leave, or an embroiderer or a sublimation decorator, because it's like any other business, but the products you produce are so cool. It's so much fun to be in such a creative industry. So
I love it
for sure.
Evelyn says technical educators would love to do that. Absolutely. And that's why I think, someday Erich will bring embroidery to Skills USA.
I like Dean's comment. When they don't make it as a software game designer, then they want to print T-shirts. Want to become a shirt designer.
Hey, merch is a real thing, and the thing that's interesting to me now is kind of the flourishing of the thing that we used to make jokes about all the time, which is everybody says they have this idea and they're going to come out with a line and they're going to sell it and market it and it's going to work well. And that was always
the greatest T-shirt idea ever.
Yeah, everyone says that, right? The thing is, we're now going so hard on like long tail kind of niche groups and merch that people are doing it. They're saying that, and then they're going out there and they're producing a bunch of sticker batches and they're producing a bunch of enamel pins and T-shirts, and they're putting together merch packs, and they're doing it, and they're selling merch based on inside jokes from one podcast. Like, this stuff is happening repeatedly. With people doing that, I have no problem with the concept of these people getting into this. I mean, kids getting into this stuff. They already know what they want.
Are you saying that there's somebody out there producing Two Regular Guys T-shirts that say it's science?
Not yet, but there should be. I can't say anything. I've had, believe me, I've been called out for the zero merch from a guy who makes merch problems several times.
Hey, we just do a podcast. If somebody wants to make merch, man, set up the store. We'll send people to it.
Right.
All right. I'll send you the logo. Terry's son made the logo. I think we've got rights to it, so we can just
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Chicken wing and a microphone.
There you go. All right. Let's see here. Okay, real quick, on Dean's comment there, when they don't make it as software game designer, that one, and they want to become a shirt designer. Actually, funny enough, so I spent a little bit of time in Boston coaching volleyball, and one of the teams I coached with was a college men's team, and the school out there was Newberry College, and one of their main areas that people went to school there for was to become graphic designers, and they had and specifically software game designers in that realm, and they had a whole class line like that. So most of the young men on this volleyball team were all graphic designers, and two of those young men are now in the industry. They're working for companies doing shirt designs. So James Beck shows up every once in a while in some of the groups that I'm in. Right. Great young man. In fact, we've had him on Two Regular Guys before we did the video version.
Right, a long time ago.
Yeah, so we need to get James back. And so, I know Dean, I think hit the nail on the head there. So There you go. Jeff Fuller says, I have my degree in video game programming. Now I make merch. There you go.
That's awesome, Jeff.
Jeff resembles that remark.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And then Jeff says, now there will be. And he pinged Justin, said, better do it. So.
In my last screen printing class, because I always talk about with my degree in journalism, I accidentally became a screen printer. Somebody in the class raised their hand and said, "Hey, I've got a degree in journalism," and I'm like, "Look where you are."
Yeah, exactly. But there was like another conversation not too long ago where there was several people in the room Scott Ritter, I guess last week.
Right.
We had a couple people.
Exactly. He does have a degree in journalism as well.
Yeah,
so.
There you go. All right. So
I have to say, in my last class, I actually had somebody who came up and said, so I do some embroidery that no one has ever really done. Nobody ever talks about it. So all of my stuff is medieval motifs. And I just kind of leaned back in my chair. And I was like,
do you want to see my sample?
Yeah, I know. I was like, what period?
Let me pull up a file for you.
Well, let's chat. From where and from when?
Yeah, exactly. And then never mind. Okay, I was going to go somewhere that not yet. Maybe at the bar later. Okay. Just kidding.
How many beers?
I was just going to ask about Beowulf. That's all.
No, we're not at the reciting of Beowulf level. What did crack me up though is someone else sent me a TikTok of someone else doing the first 10 lines of Beowulf as their party trick, and I was like, I was there first.
Yeah, I've seen it so many times from Eric that I actually remember some of it now.
That's not true. That's not true.
I heard him do it a lot.
Yeah.
I just nod and think about other stuff.
Nice. All right.
Hey,
so guys, we are 45 minutes into this. We have not talked about am I doing this right?
Oh,
should we hit a couple of those things real quick? I think we should, right?
A couple.
Shoot. Let's see. James, you're going to keep me going on this. Yeah, let's do it. James, Pittsburgh State University Technology Center has a full graphic design training lab with 20 computers. And in the next room, they can have a 10-color automatic T-shirt press and a 20-foot conveyor dryer to print whatever they design. But they have no embroidery equipment.
Oh, I think I don't know that. I feel like James is calling you out, Eric, but I don't know.
Calling me out. I feel like he's calling out Pittsburgh State University Technology Center more than me.
James, by the way, is an alumnus of Pittsburgh State, and they have an awesome college football team. Division III football. They've been national champions many times. They're awesome.
Here's what I will say. I've had the great fortune of Brian of Brilliance allowing me to give massive amounts of software to people working in universities and schools. I've managed to equip people with digitizing software. Don't have a machine manufacturer jumping back in yet, but hey, guys, come on.
There you go.
So, James, are you saying Division II or two regular guys? To the number two.
To the number two.
To the division.
Right. So let's close this out with some am I doing it right? I think we can just all three
topics.
Yeah, the actual topic. I think we all three can do one in our respective fields.
Yeah.
You maybe can do two. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Eric,
you know me, I never think we have enough material, but yeah, I can do all we want.
All right. So Eric, would you start us off, please?
You're
the only one still on track.
Hey, I will get as close as I can to the track. We'll see. Right. We'll see how close I can be. We'll put it this way: because I teach digitizing so often, I often get the question of whether or not people think it's okay to be outsourcing your digitizing while you're doing it in-house, or if you have to bring it all in-house, or what the merits are of that. And one of the "am I doing this right" things that I hear constantly from Reuters is like, should I be paying for digitizing outside, or is it stupid to bring digitizing in-house when overseas sources and other sources of digitizing are so cheap? And I would say that neither of these approaches is incorrect. So the am I doing it right on this one being, should I be outsourcing? Am I doing it wrong that way? Should I be paying? Whatever is that? I'll say number one, the worst reason to bring digitizing in-house is because you are trying not to pay for it, because the opportunity cost, the cost of the equipment and software and the training is
free when you bring it in-house. It's completely free. Okay.
Yeah, no. Yeah. When you bring digitizing in-house, you also have to have a human being who wants to be a digitizer, and it is a highly skilled thing. I still remember to this day when I moved into the art room of the first shop that I worked at as a digitizer, and the artist there looked at me and said, "I am so glad you're doing this. They wanted me to learn. It's an entirely different career. And I said, yeah. When I got on the production floor, and a man who is a goofy human being was very earnest for one sentence. And that was the so suffice it to say, it is serious to do. However, if you want to do it and you have customers who need creative solutions, you want to do quick turnaround, you want to do things that are experimental, that are not just standard embroidery off the shelf, whatever anybody else is already doing, absolutely makes sense. You can make digitizing into a profit center. We certainly did. We were always profiting off of it when I was doing it, and we were not charging the overseas prices. Believe me, it was a lot more. So you can do that. But the other thing is, I always recommend a hybrid while you're learning to digitize. Keep bringing in files from a trusted digitizer you know does well, and also analyze and learn from those files and learn from what the digitizer is doing. Bring those files in. It's an education for you. You keep serving customers while you're learning. And by the way, there's no problem with you seeking to have other people still do work while you're learning down the road. Do the simple stuff yourself, do stuff that you're comfortable with yourself, and have other people do other work. I will say up until the last moment I was decorating commercially every day, there were certain things I didn't like to do. One of them was specialty breeds of dogs. I had someone who did that stuff and loved doing it, and believe me, I hired her every time because I would rather not. It's not that I don't have the possibilities, but there are just specialists. And the people who are just excellent at their specialty, man, pay them and have them do it. There's no problem with that. And
that's the beauty of today, where you can reach out to that person and allow them to do what they do best and give your customer what's best. But Erich's was really, really good, so I choose to pass.
I passed then too. No, so you get
Carry
to
the show.
Yeah. So Terry, you get to pick. Do you want to do DTG or screen printing right now?
I'm gonna do general and then real quick screen printing.
Okay.
And here's the general. So many people, and I get the benefit of talking to lots of people out in the industry, through my classes and things like that, So I hear things that I wouldn't necessarily think about that's happening out there. And first of all, it's the someone saying to you, well, of course this, because they heard it on the internet. Somebody just recently this week said to me, well, of course, when you pre-treat a shirt in DTG, of course you have to have the roller to spread the pre-treat around. I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. Oh, you don't? But it was, of course, because they saw it on the internet. And I think we all know how I feel about the internet. I have an internet slide tomorrow. Anybody who's going to be in my seminar.
Nice.
But here's one that if I wasn't doing classes all the time, I would not have thought was something out there in the industry. I probably, for every 10 classes I do, I have 9 people who say this to me. Why aren't you flashing between colors in screen printing? And because that's what they were told. That's what they learned from the person they bought their equipment from. And by that, I mean the shop they bought out. That's what they saw on the internet. And and let me just dispel that. The inks, plasticol inks for screen printing are meant to be printed wet on wet, color on top of color on top of color. So, but it's still surprising to me that every single class I teach, someone raises their hand and go, well, wait a minute, you're not flashing between colors? Yeah. And I have to explain it. And of course, it's not efficient. There's all kinds of it's a Band-Aid. We've talked about that on shows
that's what
before.
I'm curious about. What's the reason for the Band-Aid though? Why would somebody have even come up with that?
It's 2 reasons for the Band-Aid. One, using too low a mesh count, because there's still lots of people out there who say, for screen printing, just use a 110 mesh screen. And when I started screen printing in a previous century, not the one before that.
Okay, all right. Still 1900. Okay.
So when I bought my equipment, I didn't know anything. I had Scott Fresner's How to Print T-Shirt book, and the guy that I bought the equipment from said, and you just need 110 mesh screens. And after pulling my hair out,
that's
what happened. It was about 110 mesh screens. But after realizing it just lays down way too much ink, then I got a better understanding of it. But people are still doing that. So what are they doing? Because then the subsequent screens that come down, there's so much ink on the shirt, it's building up on the back of the subsequent screens, and then you're cleaning the screens off, you're spraying, product on there to keep the ink from sticking to it. Bump up your screens to about a 160, that disappears. Also, if you don't have a press that holds good registration, and I'm talking about a press that's either super old or really, really Amazon cheap. Most pressers are going to hold the registration perfectly fine. But that's it. It's just, they're getting buildup of ink. They're getting the kind of muddying of the inks next to each other. So it's really a simple solution that took a long time for me to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. No, I love it. I mean, when you talk about that, and see, I always wonder, like, where do these things come from? Because I was taught by Terry. I could screen print. I don't, but I certainly could.
I know what it is.
No, I mean, if somebody said, "Hey, you've got to screen print this thing, your life depends on it," I'd be like, I got this, no worries. And so but the interesting part is, where did that Band-Aid come from? And then I think what ends up happening when you keep flashing between and you're using that too low a mesh count, you end up with this like bulletproof.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like who would want to wear that anyways, kind of thing.
Right.
So,
and not to mention the time involved in doing that. I mean, you could print a shirt in 10% of the time if you're not doing that flashing.
Yeah. And Kylie, you remember a few years back, you got some shirts through, anyhow, she ended up, she was working with a student veteran organization at a college, and they needed to get some shirts, and they got a shirt. They ended up getting shirts from somebody knew,
I thought you were going to drop their name.
No. It was a buddy's buddy kind of thing, and they were, they would stand up on their own. There was so much ink on it. And then because there was so much ink on it, they cracked immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Because
you couldn't
ink
get
wasn't
it
cured. Yeah, ink wasn't cured.
But it did save that one guy's life.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Carjacking.
Bulletproof vest, yeah. All right.
Well, see, but Eric, now everybody can see you shaking your head. Eric does this through the entire show.
I do. I really do shake my head. Well, and partially because, like, for embroidery, we call embroidery bulletproof, and Brian and I have this discussion all the time. Like, when did we start calling it that? Because there really is. I've had embroidery where somebody brought it to me. I couldn't flex it in half. The logo could not be folded. And I one time did, and I swear I did this. I took a scissor, I stabbed it, and it did not go through. And I'm like, that's too much density right there. I'm like, that right there, that's when it's too much. I stabbed it with a scissor and it wouldn't go through to the table. Like, come on, guys. We've built up 3 more garments worth of material on top of this thing. It's a little too much. If it sits up on your shirt like a credit card, if it's a cardboard and it flops over and stretches your shirt out, probably too much.
It drags down on one side.
Yeah. When the physical weight of it gives you shoulder and neck problems, we need to back that density off just a little bit.
Your embroidery or your screen print should not cause physical harm to the wearer. That's what we're saying, right?
Not good. And by the way, I agree, Jeff. I can hear it running from your description. Yeah, whoever this was who produced this thing, their machine had to have been sounding like it was driving through tooling leather. It was, this thing was punching hard to get the needle through that much thread. There is no way it didn't chunk through that thing.
All right. A couple comments, and then I'll share one, and then Terry, if you've got another one, we can close it out with that.
Sure.
Jerry says, I need to take Terry's class. So Jerry's there in St. Louis. So he could go to Atlas
Screen Supply. We have a class coming up in October. If I had Terry's big book of travel, I could tell you exactly when, but you can go to terrycombs.com and click on Chicago class, and there it is.
There you go. So
they always sell out, by the way. So this last class I did last weekend, my previous time here in Chicago last weekend, it sold out 2 months ahead of the class. So
yeah, Jerry, if you're going to do that, let me know. I'll go with you. I need to go sit in the back of the class.
I was going to say,
it's been a while.
Sit in the back.
Sit in the back of the class and cause Terry some grief. That'd be fun. All right. Let's see here. Jeff says, really, really cheap Amazon press. I heard my brand of the heat press. And then Dean says, your logo still looks like a 45 insert.
Okay.
Could be.
So explain that. that little thing you pop into a 45 to put on your record player. Yeah.
There you go. All right. I like it. So James says plush flashing after every color burns up the palette screen adhesive super fast.
Right.
So there you go. Let's see here. And then Dean says you need that in Chicago. I don't remember exactly what we were talking about at that point.
I think he's making a joke about bulletproof garments.
But
I don't know. I've run around Chicago.
It's hilarious now, Dean.
Yes,
now that Eric's explained it to us.
No, man. I'll tell you what. I need that in Albuquerque. Actually, go check our sticker patch for this year. I guess I shouldn't be too worried about it.
Todd says, "What's a record player?" Yeah. Todd, you know what a record player is, man. Don't.
It's already gone around the horn where kids now are buying all of their stuff on vinyl. So now you look old either direction you go.
My 21-year-old daughter, she came and got all of my albums, and she has a record player, and she only listens to music on vinyl now. So
she's very hip and
she's super hip. Oh yeah.
Every time every time people are like, "Oh no, everything's on MP3s. I've just got everything there. I've got everything digitized," and they're like, "What?" Or I've got that. I still have a collection of them
to her a few times. No. Yeah, those Beatles records, those are really worth a lot. Don't
mess those up.
Don't mess those up.
Well, I was a punk kid, and when you're a punk kid, you want to get all your 7-inch records because that's all the indie stuff was pressed on vinyl anyway. So
now the kids with the record players nowadays, Terry, do they do the scratching thing still?
No, I don't think they do.
All right.
I'm hoping they don't.
With your Beatles
record.
All right. So Becky says, surprised to find you all on tonight. So Becky, we've got DAX tomorrow. Terry's got a seminar at 8:30
till noon.
8:30 till noon. Erich will be teaching a seminar tomorrow as well, and Todd and I will be on the show floor and in booth 402. So we had to.
No, we're drinking beer. They're not going to be on the floor. They'll actually be in the booth. I just want to make that clear.
See where it goes.
But this does mean for any of you who are listening, this does mean postponement of the half of any other shows. I think the half probably got canceled this time.
Susan, Vinyl says Vinyl is the only one to listen to music. Susan, you appreciate fine music.
You know what, Erich? I didn't actually think about the half.
Half is probably canceled, okay. I think, but certainly I'm going to say that
we'll figure it out.
The take up is moved because the take up is happening.
Take up is moved. Maybe we'll move the half or something.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with the half. But the take up is definitely moved. I'm bargaining to make it happen Sunday.
When's your class done at?
Mine's done at noon.
At noon, so we can move the half back a half hour.
There is the assumption that I will be done. The class is done at noon. The assumption will be that I'm done at noon.
That's
I believe I already said I have 100 slides, and we're all going to print a shirt.
That's right. There you go.
All right. I saw this as well. And Jeff, they canceled the embroidery nerd today. So everybody's busy at shows, folks. So
man,
all that.
Where's Jeff? Where's Jeff at?
Right.
Where's Jeff at? Jeff, why is embroidery nerd canceled? I missed that.
Tell everybody about it, man.
Do we know? Erich, do you know?
I know shows that we're going to do. I mean, because Jeff and I are doing Fort Worth.
All right.
We're doing that shortly.
Oh, it's canceled because he's right here? Okay. Wow. Jeff.
Oh, he's right there. I didn't even hear him come in.
All right. Now we're getting way off the rails. So Susan,
do you have one? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I do have one. We'll get there.
Oh,
Susan says vinyl is the only way to listen to music.
Yeah.
Dean says, "Are 8-tracks coming back also?" Terry,
I believe not.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's not the technology that needs to come back.
Okay, all right. And Eddie says, "I love my 45s." There you go.
Yep.
Patrick, good to see you. Patrick is right on the other side of us on the show floor in GSG's booth. Patrick with Caesar, not Sister or Sizer.
Caesar.
So Patrick, good friend, and looking forward to getting to hang out a couple days with him. I told him we'd try to keep it down and not have too much fun over on our side of the little island there. But
Susan and Mike, as soon as this is over, they're going to look at each other going, "Let's play some records."
Yeah,
is that right,
Susan? Yeah. It's Susan, Erich, and I will actually be in Fort Worth. Are you going to be in Fort Worth?
I am not.
So,
Jim's going to Fort Worth.
All right. Eric and I will be in Fort Worth, so hopefully we'll see you there at the Impression Expo.
Yes.
All right. Jeff, gosh, I didn't realize that we were conflicting with you when we moved to 6 p.m. I apologize, sir. That's on me.
And I'll admit I wasn't sure either because I'm terrible with the time zone change. Hence why I almost forgot to come on and produce the show.
All right. There's not enough matchbooks anymore to make 8 tracks work, Todd says.
That sounds like some
car,
baseball.
when the tape just starts pulling at them and you just pull it out and throw it out the window.
Yeah.
That's back when we used to throw stuff out the window. We don't do that today.
Yeah. That's all right. And then Becky says, I love my 8-track player and all my original 8-tracks. We still play them. All right. Awesome, Becky.
I had my parents' 8-tracks, which is going to make everybody feel bad.
What did you say, Eric? I'm sorry.
It's going to make everybody feel bad, but I have my parents' 8-tracks, and so I have had the great displeasure of flipping through an 8-track and having to deal with that technology. I'm all for MP3s.
Smoke on the water, an 8-track. Come on, man.
Oh, no. Absolutely. Also, what I'm not going to say is I don't know why my parents let me listen to that much Cheech and Chong, but I sure did.
Nice.
So,
nice. All right. So, Jerry, why were they called 8-tracks when they had 4 channels? I don't know the answer.
I don't answer either.
No. Okay. Eric, you're the smartest one of the group here.
Yeah, but I didn't specialize in 8-track. I'm just going to say that one. I don't know.
Okay. Jeff's going to be in Fort Worth. Awesome, Jeff. I owe you a beer.
And in fact, Jeff's going to be in Fort Worth because Jeff and I will be on the Madeira panel. We are the two who are on the panel for Excellence Machine Embroidery. So come see a panel that is just Jeff and me. So if you want to get the combo embroidery nerd,
man, that'll be awesome.
Action,
can I get in on that?
No.
Can I? Hey, I'm an experienced embroiderer now. I can get in on it. Yeah. I'm an experienced embroiderer, so.
And it's all over the internet.
Yeah, so, it's everywhere.
Don't let anybody sit in the front and watch.
Do I need to is this kind of like going to be like one of those Gallagher shows where I have to wear like a rain jacket and smash watermelons or anything like that? No? Okay.
Only if you show up. Everybody else is.
And Jeff has merch. So, all right. And then Brian says, I'm excited to learn from Eric at Shirt Lab in Fort Worth after the ISS show.
That's true. Yeah. I'm also doing a Shirt Lab thing, which I owe Marshall some discussion about. I need to talk to him.
There you go.
He sent me emails and Alan are going to feel obligated to do a show after hours today because they always do theirs right after hours.
Yeah, so. They might have to do an extra one.
I saw Alan in the elevator. He's probably like, Marshall, we got to go on the air, man.
Well, they're doing something never done before soon.
True enough.
Yeah. All right. So I have my vinyl 8-track player as well, Martha says. And Susan, 9:10 to 9:12 for Impressions Expo. Sorry, Eric, I'm all over the place here. Yeah, and Becky says, thanks a lot. Make me feel old. I still have a car with an 8-track player that works. That's awesome, too. Oh, I love it.
It went down in value, but now it's going back up again.
Yeah, there you go. Evelyn says, I still play vinyl, have reel-to-reel also. Man, you guys have some cool stuff.
Crazy.
I just never held onto my stuff long enough and kept to good care enough of it.
I do still have my big giant book of CDs, despite the fact that I ripped all of those to
There you go.
Riley still has her book of CDs as well.
Definitely, though, Napster era, if you know, you know. I have lots of music. I don't want to talk about it.
I love it. All right. We're going to get to James's in just one second. Eddie says, I have 8 tracks, haven't played them in years. Reel-to-reel was before my time, Evelyn.
So, Eddie, you don't know if you have them or not. I mean, you physically have them, but who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Go out there in the garage, dust that stuff off.
See what happens. All right. My dad, from James Ortolani, says, my dad joke contribution. I just found out that the company that makes yardsticks won't be making them any longer.
I don't know. In the UK, I think they're making metric sticks, and that would be 3 inches longer. Do they have metric sticks in the UK?
I don't know.
They surely do.
They have to. Absolutely.
Or not the UK. UK, they're still like us. Every place else in Europe.
Yeah.
No, UK is.
Where's Gustav? It's probably the middle of the night for him right now. Yeah.
Everyone is metric, but us, really. It's no.
Yeah.
I blame Jimmy Carter. Well, I blame Jimmy Carter for all kinds of things, but yeah, metric never took off under Jimmy Carter.
Metric is always I get into the classes, and every 2 seconds I stop because embroidery is all based off of metric measurements. Density is based off of metric measurements. Everything is. So I'm like, 1 inch is 25.4 millimeters. Learn it, love it, and figure it out. I'm not saying it again because I'm going to use metric measurements for the rest of the class.
Nice.
I do want to make a clarification. Jimmy Carter was once the president of the United States in the 70s. For anybody who doesn't know, it was bad. It was really, really bad.
Oh boy!
I gotta call this out though, Jeff. No, man, I am not that much older than you. I was not around for real. I will say this: I definitely was around for all of the floppy based machines, so that makes me old enough. But I had the once again the displeasure of having a converter on site for the old paper tapes to the new data, because paper tape readers, that model is still around. When we're reading in data from a head unit that we're using a serial cable, it's still the same format from those old paper tape readers. Like digitally, we're still doing that.
And so, Eric, it would be funny sometime in the show to survey embroiderers and how many don't know what a paper tape is.
Oh, I know. There's a lot that don't. I'll just say what always comes up is I tell people, I'm like, I'm not that old. I just worked with really old junky equipment. Like I came into a shop that had really old machinery and really old equipment. So I have this extra round of stuff. But I am definitely middle aged, but was not around during the era of paper tape machines.
And I'll follow yours with how many people have ever run a stat camera. So there's that.
I'll say that.
Amberlit.
Amberlit.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen all of it. Haven't had to mess with it myself, but I did run.
As an embroiderer, Eric, I don't know what the paper tape is. So you can add me to that.
There's a lot of stuff you don't know. But no, what I will say is the embroidery. I think the embroidery world, those guys and guys who run really old synthesizers are the only people who are keeping the floppy disk alive right now.
Right. There you go.
We still just aren't converting over yet.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Dean says, "Poor Jimmy." Brian says Walmart sells meter sticks. They are 39.5 inches long.
Wait, is that Walmart in like Brussels or is that Walmart here?
And then Dean says, I remember all the gas stations switch over to metric. You remember that?
No.
Oh.
Dean's on the East Coast. They do things differently out there.
Okay. All right.
Right, Dean.
There's all of the hate from the Southwest. It's all like Arizona.
Yeah.
Out here.
Jeff says, I've been seeing a lot of BAS machines lately. Every time I see one up for sale, I think of you.
I know. That's where I am old, and I feel like the only guy who used to run like a Studebaker and still wants an old car that has no parts anymore. Because every once in a while I'm like, man, that old BAS 415. I remember that. I put one in the corner of my shop to keep her running for a while. Why not?
Nice.
No, the brother commercial machines were awesome. They were great before they stopped making them. It's just like every time somebody sells one now, they're like, should I buy this? It looks like a used commercial machine. It's great. I'm like, unless you buy 5 of them and know how to take them all apart, no. There are no parts left.
Don't be here forever like Betamax.
In my career, I ran a machine that looked like it could have launched the nukes in the 60s. I mean, we had a Barradin that had these big gray keycaps, and you typed out lettering on the machine, and it had circuit boards you had to add in to get more fonts. Like, embroiderers wait a real long time to get rid of stuff, guys. So
here's the bottom line.
Ancient equipment.
I'm sorry, didn't mean to talk over you, but
no, you're good.
This industry used to be really hard. People don't realize how easy it is to do garments today.
Yeah, exactly.
And we still did it.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so let's see. Oh yeah, we got to get to that because we got to close it out. We're hour and 15
we're bonus time, folks.
But thank you guys so much for all the comments and for being here. And honestly, everybody that's tuned in right now and everybody that takes this in as the podcast version or otherwise, we appreciate the fact that, every once in a while, let's just have a little fun. I think we covered some actual information that hopefully was helpful. But you know what? Sometimes we just gotta have some fun too, right? Just give yourself a little grace and get out there and have a little bit of fun and hang out with people. I mean, we have an awesome industry of people that just give a crap. That's the thing I love about what we get to do is all these people that, Brian here, he's on Walmart.com trying to help us make the joke of the metric stick work, right? And James says the only metric measurement that stuck in the U.S. was 2 liters of soft drinks. So there you go.
True. Here's what I'll say. If you've ever been trying to describe things inside of a 4-inch embroidery design and somebody's trying to use 1/16 of an inch, get out of here. I don't want to use
James, I think that measurement was probably 2 liters of Mountain Dew. Well, and Aaron's right. It is fun to, just kind of come on and talk about a few things and talk about some pertinent things as well. But we love the regulators and being able to chat with you guys all the time. And I was just talking to someone downstairs because I said, when they asked me, hey, where are you going with that picture? I said, well, we're doing a podcast, 2 regular guys, and talking to them about the fact that we've been doing this show for 9 years and 416 episodes.
This is 16. Yeah.
This is 16. And, we appreciate you guys so much. And hopefully we bring a lot of good information and some entertainment. And hey, this is a fun industry, so we like to have a little fun in sharing with all of you guys, and we appreciate you very, very much. So we just want you to know.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sure. And to kind of follow that up, we've got people. Good night, Eddie. Chuck, we love you too. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it. And Evelyn, this was fun. Now I know that we are kind of like saying our goodbyes here.
You have a new subject? What?
No, I still haven't done mine. Are we doing this right?
Oh, that's right.
Jerry and I hammed it up so hard we didn't care at all.
And you guys have fun while some of us are back home working. Are you really working?
And is it really your house?
And by
I just didn't mean to get you in trouble there.
And is working meaning you're out there skimming the pool? Then I may as well jump in because it's 105 degrees. That's my whole comment.
All right. Kim, I do not condone or anyhow.
Support in any way my comments.
No, I'm not. I'm just here with him as the other regular guy. That's it. All right. I don't want to get on Kim's bad side.
No, you don't.
She's too fun to be on her bad side.
I've been there.
Nice. My wife is probably done with us by now, but
I think when you crinkled your cup at her to get another drink, that was it.
That was the time that I went off the deep end.
Yeah, that was a bridge too far.
All right, so I'm actually going to be legitimate here. I have my "Am I doing this right?" thing.
Okay,
Erich obviously won already, so that's not a competition any longer. Yours is pretty good. I don't know if you've got a DTG thing coming too or not.
No, I'm good.
We're good. Okay.
You go.
All right.
We're well in.
So sublimation. Am I doing this right? And some of you may have heard me on this soapbox rant before. Please stop dipping your mugs. I know I'm going to hear about it. I know some people are going to tell me that I'm off my rocker, and that's fine. Just like the flashing between colors was a Band-Aid to fix bad up the road.
Right.
Dipping your mug was a Band-Aid to fix bad coating before the current. Because if your coating is not dishwasher safe at this point in the sublimation game, then you probably need to find another mug, first off. But that was what it was all about. The coatings were just not strong enough, and so they needed to get the heat out of them as soon as they could. Otherwise, the coatings weren't holding up, and so they would become less dishwasher safe. But in today's world, the coatings are way better. They're much stronger. They're dishwasher safe. They're microwave safe. We can do all sorts of things with a sublimation mug, except dip it in. I don't care how lukewarm your water is. When you change the temperature of a piece of ceramic that quickly, because if your water is not 350 degrees, 375 degrees, you're changing it pretty drastically right away. And when you do that to ceramic, you start putting micro cracks into that ceramic. And guess what? About 2 or 3 weeks later, your customer is going to have a mug that does not have a handle on it any longer, because that's the first thing that's going to come off because you dipped the mug. So that's my soapbox moment. Please do not dip your mugs. That's all I'm asking. And
here's what it sounds like to me. If you do that, you're dead to me.
Here we're always
Something
saying
like-
like there's multiple ways to do something, but no, Aaron's just like, nah, don't dip that mess.
So what are you saying? You feel strongly about
I
this?
feel very strongly
because
about
I
this.
wasn't getting that.
All right. I feel
sugarcoat
very
it. Tell us how
strongly
you really
about this. I get it, right? I mean, there's still people that talk about this, and here's what you need to do. When that mug comes out of the oven, your mug press or whatever, you need to get it onto a cooling rack. You need to have a cookie sheet or what cookie rack kind? Is that what? Okay. So some sort of a cooling rack. I like to actually put it onto concrete, and that'll start dissipating your heat quickly. So you want to get the temperature down, but you don't want to get the temperature down like that, because then you, like I said, you start creating micro cracks inside of your ceramic, and there you go. So you do want to get it cooled as quickly as you can, because then you can go ahead and package the product, move on to the next one. But you don't want to dip it in water. It creates a huge mess on top of it. So anyhow, there's all sorts of cake rack. There you go, Evelyn. Thank you. Cake rack, marble slab. I like to put mine directly on. So we'll make mugs well, we don't make it in the basement. So, but if you have like a concrete slab or, granite, we've got a little table in front of us right here that would work just fine. So anything you can do to kind of start sucking that heat out of it, great. But the coatings and the ink is to a point where we don't need to dip them anymore. So let's just stop dipping altogether. And there we go. Is that enough?
Easy enough. Just
right.
Do it the correct way.
Todd, you're killing me here. Todd says, I just saw someone last week tell beginners to dunk mugs. There you go. Dale, perfect. A slate tile. Perfect. Great idea. Great idea. Great
Evelyn
idea.
says the crazing is real. So yeah, the cracking and the
and when you think about it, it's
you've
done the entire process, and at the end, you're trying to save 2 minutes by doing that. It's just doesn't make any sense. Nothing's going to happen to your mug if you're getting like ghosting or this black. Your blacks are starting to turn a little bit brown, or you have a halo around it. That has nothing to do with the fact that you didn't cool it down long enough. It has everything to do with the fact that you overcooked it. There's a couple other things that could be happening. Your ink has some scatter to it or some. So not the only thing that's happening, but it definitely has nothing to do with the fact that you didn't dunk it into water to cool it down. Only dips dip. Thank you, Dale.
Dale always ideas today.
Dale does have an awesome comment. In fact, the way I look at it, Dale, the only thing I ever dunk is my chicken wing into ranch dressing.
Oh, are we doing this now?
Yeah, we are.
Blue cheese. Ranch dressing is a front to God. It's only blue cheese.
Yeah. There you go. Jeff, perfect idea. A granite floor tile are pretty cheap to buy and set down on your workbench to help you with that. I use them for hot cutting patches. There you go. So
yeah, a lot of people use glass slabs for hot cutting patches, but yeah, granite floor tiles, if you got something smooth enough that you can skate that point of your hot knife on, yeah, go for it.
There you go. Man, we'll learn all sorts of stuff. Ian, bonus time.
I live in Arizona, so my entire house is tile, so I could have mugs everywhere.
Yeah. There you go. I can see it now. Kim, we're firing up the mug press.
She does have a mug press and the little oven.
There you go. There you go. All right, you guys. I think we've covered it all. Terry, you didn't have another. You're good. Okay.
No. I think
I don't want to steal your thunder there.
I think in an hour and a half we can probably call it.
Yeah,
we're getting pretty close.
Yeah. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate everything. Eric, thank you for being here and shaking your head live today at Terry and I's insanity.
Thanks to Kylene for getting us another picture of you.
Yes, thank you, Kylene. Cheers.
Kylene for MVP.
MVP for Kylene. I love it. I love it. 100%. All right, you guys. So, Terry, I think we've come to the close of another show.
I think we have. I'm Terry Combs. He's Eric Campbell. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the two regular guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.